Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Hunter x Hunter chapter 398. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? I personally thought it was very awesome. I enjoyed this chapter quite thoroughly, and it was a really change of pace because we have been spending the last couple of chapters with the Phantom Troupe, backstory and all, and I just go back to the present time, and as good as those chapters were and amazing that those chapters were about the Phantom Troupe and learning about them, it was refreshing to be back to the present time and seeing what's happening with them and Hinrigh and the rest of the Morena, her crew, the Hinrigh family, the Char family, and Hinrigh and all that. So it was awesome just seeing that, be back on that world. Now, before we get into this week's chapter, I just wanted to remind you guys to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all the Hunter x Hunter and anime and manga content that I'm gonna provide in this channel going forward. I'm currently uploading Chainsaw Man, Hunter x Hunter, and Berserk content, but I'm gonna upload more content going forward in the future. So if you guys could, I really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with that being said, let's get into this week's chapter. Now, this week's chapter was awesome, and we pick up from the last time we left of the whole the room. Pretty much the Phantom Troupe, they got in the room and they're figuring out like how does this room work, and you find out that there's a lot of variables, and you actually see the Phantom Troupe like how smart they are because they're very thorough and they throw all these hypotheses of what might be causing the room, like anybody that walks in to teleport and why not, and they eventually they start coming with this plan that is pretty much like there might be multiple variables, and these variables might be different depending on the scenario that they're picturing, which is there's either multiple people that are causing this to happen, either the old guy that disappeared was a conjurer and that was actually a clone, that was actually just a clone and not the guy, or if it was actually the guy but then there was somebody supporting him, and there's all these different variables that might have happened. So you see Sphinx, Nobunaga, and Phaeton, they all kind of agree that let's see how things are going, like let's see what might be the most likely scenario. And they pretty much they get one of the goons from the Char family and they use him like a guinea pig, and it's hilarious because like the guy's like, I'm not trying to, like, he obviously doesn't want to do it, but he's being forced to, because obviously when the Phantom Troupe tell you to do something, you ain't gonna tell them no because it's the Phantom Troupe. You don't tell the Phantom Troupe no. So what happens is the guy, he goes into the room and he's very sketched out. He's like, whoa, I'm kind of scared, and they pretty much just make him go and he gets teleported to another place. So after he gets teleported, they make him like, hey, okay, we're gonna do this again, and this time don't run. And Phaeton tells him like, if you run, I'll catch up to you. He's like, okay, I won't run, whatever. So he teleports, and the second he spawns to the other section, he begins to run for his life. And what happens? Phaeton catches up to him just like he said he was, and he tells him like, bro, don't be pulling that stunt on me because I'm fast, boy. And then you see Sphinx and Nobunaga's like, oh, this guy's an idiot. He really thought he was gonna speed you. Like, nah, bro, he's dumb. And eventually they're like, okay, let's throw him, like, let's sacrifice him and actually make him go into the teleporter and see what happens. Like, and you see that because there's different teleportation. There's one to spawn somewhere else, or there's different routes you can go from what we see in this week's chapter. So before the Phantom Troupe, they continue their scheme and why not, you see that actually Hinrigh and the leader of the Char family, they're both walking in the hall, and then Hinrigh is like, hey, actually, I have a better plan. And Hinrigh, the man that he is, very intelligent, he tells them, okay, here's the plan, guys. What if instead of using the goon, to do our dirty work, what if we actually what if I take the bait? And then they're like, what, really, you? But you're like a boss of the one of the mafia families. And he's like, I know, but hear me out. My Nen ability allows me to turn objects into living things for a certain amount of time, and depending how big the object is, the less of the time I'll be able to turn it into an animal. So he has the scheme of putting a tracking device in pretty much carrying that tracking device, and once he gets teleported, they'll see where he's at because he has also a tracker. So then he's like, I'll take the bait. And the Phantom Troupe is like, why would you do that? And he's like, listen, man, like, you guys had it's my plan, I'll take it if you guys don't want to. And they're like, okay. So pretty much Hinrigh turns this tracking device into an oyster, and they're like, oh, I don't, he was like, who's gonna eat it? And he's like, oh, I don't want to eat it. And then you see a funny panel where Nobunaga's like, oh, I ate an oyster once and it was disgusting and I'm never again gonna eat one. And then you see Phaeton like, I don't need food that other people have touched. So I thought that was hilarious, like, you know, a little nice personality moment between all of them. Now Fangs is like, whatever, I don't care. And then that's where we see that Hinrigh is like, I'll eat it. And he's like, okay, what? They all get shocked because he just eats it and he's like, yeah, I'll be the bait. And, you know, the fan troop, like I said, they're very confused about this whole situation because they're like, you wouldn't expect the leader of the mafia family to be the one that takes, you know, the liberty of doing such a task. But he does, because Hinrigh is a boss. Like I've been telling y'all, Hinrigh is awesome. I love this dude. He's cool. One of my favorite side characters in this Succession War arc. And yeah, it was fun just seeing him again. So pretty much after he digests the oyster, he goes in and he gets teleported. And what you see is this room, and it looks like a torture chamber. You see all this blood everywhere. However, nobody's in there that they can see, but he's by himself. And he's just kind of like, whoa, what the heck? And you see pretty much the fan troop, they get the tracer, like, oh snap, yeah, he's somewhere along the lines here. Like, yeah, he actually teleported somewhere and we can track him. Now Nobunaga, he actually he decided to join Hinrigh because he teleports, and Hinrigh is like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, you see, I came here just to check it out too. And then Nobunaga explains that actually, you see, what happened was they thought that, you know, you might have, you know, teleported yourself and then set us up so we can get killed. So, you know, I kind of went in just to double check if you were actually on our side, because it seemed a little too sketchy. So I thought that once I teleported here, you're gonna be like, oh, you know, you fell for my trap and proceed to pull a knife or try to kill me or something. But in reality, you didn't do none of that, which I believe is what you were gonna do. So I think you're a cool guy. Pretty much that's what Nobunaga sums up. He pretty much tells him like, Hinrigh, you're all right, you're cool, bro. And that's a cool moment, man. Like, you know, they're giving my boy Hinrigh some love, and I've been telling y'all, Hinrigh is cool, bro. Like, one of out of these side characters, like, Hinrigh is cool, man. Like, the way he handled Hisoka, the way he handled those goons from Morena, and, you know, the way that he handled the whole room and how he was able to figure stuff out and put in the tracker and all that. Like, Hinrigh is very intelligent. I love this guy. He's awesome, man. But following that up, we see that Nobunaga and him, they're, you know, keep searching the room, and there's nobody there. And one thing led to the other, and pretty much what happens is that Nobunaga, he tells Hinrigh, like, hey, I didn't get to have I didn't remember your name back then because I didn't trust you, but what was your name again? And he goes, Hinrigh. And it's a sweet moment, man. Like, you know, like, it's just, I love to see these two just together, because Nobunaga is a pretty chill guy, and Hinrigh is, you know, he seems like a pretty chill guy, man. Like, I'll drink a couple beers with either Nobunaga and Hinrigh. Yeah, their chemistry is just awesome with the two of them. Like, I love them together as a team. And what happens is they keep exploring this room, and eventually Hinrigh is like, hey, try to, like, you know, find anything about this room. And Nobunaga pulls out his sword and he starts slicing the wall, but then nothing happens, and you find out that the walls have been embedded with Nen. And what Hinrigh theorizes is that this room is probably Morena's doing, as we all assume, and that she probably knows, like, who can come in, who comes in, and she can kind of pinpoint people's locations based on this Nen ability and why not, because she probably is a specialist. At least that's what they're guessing right now. Well, we know that she's a specialist because she can unlock people's Nen potential and why not, but they think that this might be an ability of herself as well, like an extra ability that she did. But what happens is they keep walking in the room and they keep exploring stuff, and they see this different doors, and what these different doors lead to is, we don't know, but they're guessing is different locations. So they open these doors, nothing happens, there's nothing there, and then one of those doors actually, you know, leaves you, so you can see that there's another room inside of that room. So the chapter pretty much ends with us as the audience seeing that Nobunaga and Hinrigh, they find out where this what the room that they can use so they can go somewhere else, because like I said, there was a secret room and they're finding it. So I'm very intrigued whether or not these two are going to be able to find Morena, and if they do, are they going to fight her right on, like straight up, or what's going to happen? Are the fan people going to now go in here as well, or are they going to wait it out? But also another thing I wanted to note is that I thought it was awesome how you know, Hinrigh is kind of like calling Nobunaga-chan, like, you know, like son, like he calls him, like, you know, like he has respect for him, and Nobunaga's like, drop the formalities, you can just call me Nobunaga. And it's a cute moment, man. Like, they're cool, bro. Like, they're just buds. Like, I want to see them too being a road trip, you know, traveling all over York New City, like, you know, and silly adventures. Like, these two I'm calling it right now, bro. Hinrigh better join the Phantom Troupe after this. Trust me, bro. If Hinrigh joins the Phantom Troupe, the Phantom Troupe will go from being a 10 out of 10 group to a 12 out of 10. Just saying. But with that being said, I really enjoyed this week's chapter. I thought it was awesome, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen now that the Phantom Troupe flashback ended in this week's chapter, and we're continuing on with the present timeline. I want to see what happens. Like, I want to see Morena, you know, step in, because she's been making her moves behind the scenes, but now it seems like, you know, the action's gonna come to her instead of she bringing the action to other people. It seems like they're finally, you know, about to figure out where she's at, and you know, we're almost there, I think. So this week's chapter was awesome. Like, I think it was a very solid chapter. I still think the Phantom Troupe chapters were better just because we got to see more lore, as well as we got way more insight about the Phantom Troupe, about these members that we cared for, like especially like Ubugen. We got way more character development with him, and you know, his character got way more flashed out than it never did in York New City. So elements like that, I think the other chapters were better. However, this is an awesome chapter. It was great. I enjoyed this chapter very, very much. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's chapter. And you know, we're almost at the number 400, man. Like, this is insane. Like, HUNTER is about to reach 400 chapters. It's insane. Like, just knowing that it's finally back, and you know, we're getting these chapters weekly, it's awesome, and I can't wait to see more. Now the question is, how many more we're gonna get in a row? We don't know, but as long as we keep getting them, that's, you know, what we want to see. We want to keep seeing more content of HUNTER because we love the story. I love the world, and as long as Togashi is able to do it, we're all for a fun ride, you know, going forward. But with that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys thought it was all right? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, I wanted to thank you guys so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.